In this video, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on why we use GitHub, how to use it together with GitHub Desktop, and also how to take a file that you've been working on in a different project and quickly put it into a repository and push it online. So first of all, you're going to need a GitHub account. To do that, you can go to github.com and just do sign up if you don't already have an account. If you do, sign in. GitHub itself is free, so we don't have to worry about having a paid account. I personally have 2 GitHubs, so that way I can practice collaborating with myself for teaching purposes. I would recommend not using your school email address just because you want to be able to create an account that will last with you. But again, that's kind of up to you. So once you have your account, you're going to go ahead and sign in. And then once you've done that, you'll see a couple things on startup. Now over here on the side, we see something called repositories. Now a repository is essentially a code storage. All right, it's a folder, it's a set of code. Now you'll see these different icons. The ones that have the little lock by them, those are ones that are private, meaning that they're not publicly available. The other ones that are not private are ones that anybody could go to and view and see your code. Now there's probably been times that you've gone online and you've searched things and you've found a link to a GitHub repository of code somebody has posted, and that's because they are posting their project, they're sharing it so that way you could utilize their code, learn from it, take parts of it. And again, this is something that programmers do. You just need to make sure that you are always sourcing that code. Now, if you want to see all the repositories, you can see more, obviously. You'll see I have quite a few on here. And you want to make sure that you're naming them well. Some of these are probably junk. I can probably get rid of them. Others are from, examples. I have different class periods, but regardless, I want to make sure I name them so I know what they are. Okay, so you have the option of just always doing your work within the website version of GitHub. However, then you have to constantly remember which files you've changed, you have to upload them, and it can be hard to remember when you've changed code. So using GitHub Desktop essentially keeps track of files that you want to have synced, and it will let you know when they've been changed so that you can sync them. It's pretty cool. So in order to do that, you need to go and download GitHub Desktop. So if you go to desktop.github.com, you'll be able to get it, and it automatically detects what system you're running on. Now, I already have mine installed, so go ahead and do this download for GitHub Desktop. Pause the video until you're done installing. And after you do that, you will get this opening window. Now, on this opening window, you'll notice a couple things. So first of all, you're going to notice that whoopsies, didn't mean to do that. You're going to notice that I don't have any accounts logged in. If I had an account logged in, it would tell me right here. And so on Mac computers, my I don't know if I can move this video thing. No, I can't. My menu options are like all the way on the top, so you can't see them. But what I want to do is go under the very top menus under GitHub Desktop and go under Preferences. And then this menu pops up. So I went to the menu for the app, GitHub Desktop, and then I went to Preferences. And so under Accounts, this is where I can sign into my github.com account. So the account that you just made, you want to sign in here. And this is going to sync the two. Now, you've got a couple options. Sign in using your browser is the most secure. So we're going to do that. And it's going to ask us if we want to do this. Yes. And there we go. So now it has synced me with my browser. Now, if my browser was not already logged in, then I would have to go ahead and log it in. But because I was already logged in on my browser, it verified that I was in fact me. And now I'm all synced up. So you can see all my repositories are right here, and I could actually work within them, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now if we take a look at what we've got going on over here, we have a couple different options. So first of all, there's this little tutorial that you can go through, which is helpful. We have these 3 options: clone a repository from the internet, create a new repository on your hard drive, and add an existing repository from your hard drive. Most likely you're going to be using these 2 options. I don't think I've ever used this option down here. In terms of the difference between them, when you clone a repository, that's kind of like how we would fork a sandbox in CodeHS. It's when you take an existing repository somebody else has and you use that as your starting place. And you take their code and you make a copy of it on your drive, and now, or on your GitHub, and now it's yours from that point forward, and now you own it, and whatever you do to it, you're changing your own version from here on out. it's kind of like if you made a copy of somebody's Google Doc and then you continued editing it. You're not changing theirs, you're changing your copy of theirs from that point in time. Now, the option that says create a new repository on your hard drive, this means that you want to start a new folder. So not one of these folders, okay? So like if I wanted to open up one of these folders here, then that would be a clone a repository from the internet. That would be the other option. If I wanted to like make a brand new one from start, like I have code on my computer that I want to put online, I could use this option here, create a new repository from your hard drive. And we're going to do that option right now. So I'm going to click on this one, and I have to give the repository a name. Now, like we saw a minute ago, we want the names to be descriptive because otherwise they end up looking kind of long. And we can see that we have this path. Now, this path is going to be where all of our GitHub, where they're all going to be kind of connected out of. Now, I don't really want my my GitHubs to be based out of my React Native folder. So I'm actually going to change this. So I'm going to choose a different location. I'm going to go backwards and, oh, actually, you know what? The reason why this is synced here is because I was already doing Git work before within my React Native. I guess I'll just leave it here. It's fine for now. So my repository name, I'm going to do the, which app was this? Oh, this was the class list app. So I'm going to call this class list app, and this was just React Native Unit 12 class list solution. Okay, and if you want, you can give it a readme. So I'm just going to click it, give it a readme so you can see what that looks like. Git Ignore, these are different files that you want to select that would be ignored when you're doing your syncing. Don't worry about this for right now. License, don't worry about this for right now. So we're going to click Create Repository. And then we see this window here. And right now, first of all, you're going to see there's no files in here. It's because we never put anything in there yet, right? There's no local changes, meaning that there is nothing that's been done on my computer, that's what local means, that need to be synced online. So they're telling me these are some things you need to do. First of all, you have to publish a repository to GitHub. So this repository is only available on your local machine. Once we publish it to GitHub, then I can share it and collaborate with others. Okay, so first of all, I want to go ahead and, sorry, I keep clicking off that. I want to go ahead and I want to open up the files that I want to put in my repository folder. So right here it says view the files of your repository in Finder. I'm assuming if you were on a Windows machine, it would say in Explorer. So if I click on Show in Finder, this right here is pulling up my repository that I just created. You'll notice that there are two files here that start with a dot in front of them, .git and .git attributes. Those are hidden files, that's why they start with a dot. And then I have my README file. Now the code that I want to put in here is actually something that's on Code.hs. So I'm going to go over to my file on Code.hs. This was the exercise that I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to copy. So if I go to More and then Download, I can download this code. And I'm just going to download it as a text file, and I'll see that right here. And so now I have my text file for this code. All right, so this is what I want to put in my repository. Okay, so if I open up another window and go over to my downloads, I will see this guy right here, and I'm just going to drag it over here. Okay, and I'm also going to rename this. Apparently I've downloaded this file more than once. Okay, so now if I go back into Git, I don't need to have this open anymore. Go back into Git, you're going to see a couple things. So first of all, I'm going to see that this file has been added. This is a change that has occurred to my GitHub folder. Anytime I make changes, they will show up here. So it's going to keep track of changes I've made. This check mark means that this is a file I want to be syncing with my repository. Now, there's two different options. There's commit and then there's publish. So commit is essentially my intent to publish. So the first time that I commit something, we typically will say initial commit. And I'll just say, I don't know, uploading code. The comment right here is required. The description is not required. So after adding that, if I click commit to main, I'm going to notice that right now I have committed that. So now there are no more local changes, meaning no more changes on my computer. Now, if I were to go back into that file that I had, oh, where did that guy go? Don't you love when you can't find your files? Said no person ever. Okay, so let me open this file back up, and let's say I was like, there's a lot of spaces up in there. We don't need all those spaces. Let's delete those, and then we'll save this, and then I'm going to close that back up, and then I come back over here, and oh, lo and behold, I can see there's been some changes made. And the red means that something was deleted. And you know what? I do want that, so I'll just say deleted extra spaces, commit to main. So now, again, I've committed that as well. So I've made 2 different commits, but there's no local changes, but still I haven't pushed anything onto GitHub. If I were to go to my Git and I were to refresh this, I don't see this repository here. Nothing has been changed. If you look at this, no changes have been made. My last change was done 2 days ago. So now I'm going to do publish repository, and you can either do that with this link here or this link here. Either one, they both do the same thing. And at this point, it's basically saying, what do you want to call it on GitHub? I want to call it this. Now, keep this code private or keep it public. I'm going to keep it private just because it's a solution to a problem. So I will say publish repository. And at this point, it is loading. All right. So now if I come back over here and I refresh, I will see, if I refresh, so I can see here that I have my class list app, and I can see that it's private. And if I click on this, I can now see the files. I can see my initial commit. I can see I deleted extra spaces. And if I click on the file, I can actually view it here. Now, the nice thing about this is you can even edit your code right in the screen. Now, if I were to edit it in here, which I can, I personally don't prefer to do that, but you can. We'll talk more about this in a future lesson. I just want you to realize that you can do all of these things within here. All right, so at this point, I have shown you how to work on your files, how to make local changes, how to commit them, and then once you're ready, you push them. Now, the next thing we'll talk about is how we can pull or fetch changes from the online version down into your local files. And that's important to do if you, let's say you were working on a project at home and you sent your changes up to Git, and then you're at school and you sync your files there, you work on them, and then you push them before you go back home, and so on. So this way you can always have the most current code wherever you are working. All right, that is it for now, and yeah.